All right, we are back. This is week 23, active recovery week, 12 miles in the bank. And yeah, let's kind of walk through this recovery week. We're almost at the game time. It's almost the peak of the training, so a lot of things going on. So for starters, we can take a look at the week here and we go 12 miles. Definitely had like 25 marked for this week. And here's part of the reality of when you're training and when you need to like step back from the plan and actually look at the situation and make some deviations. So on the plan, we had two 6 miles and I think it was a 14 miler for Saturday planned. I did this 56K on the previous Saturday, and I guess it's really due to how technical, how many rock beds and fast steps and things like that. My overall ankles and my hip flexors ended up getting pretty strained coming out of this, to the point where I'd say my ankles had borderline bruising on the insides and outsides, and my legs were in pretty rough shape. Um, I started treating it pretty quickly after the race. But even by this Tuesday run, I did the 6 miles, and that was cool. But it was a struggle. It wasn't a fun 6 miles. It was like I'm taking it slow. I feel like I'm on like breadsticks, and you're really just trying to not make it worse. Into the Wednesday, um, still was feeling tense. Every day you're spending like an hour or two over the course of the day stretching, mobilizing. I was doing some cold water treatments as well as hot water. Doing whatever I could to try to get like mobility through those areas. And even on the Thursday run, felt a bit weak, felt a bit sketchy. I was happy it was just 6 miles. And I made the call kind of by Friday night that, you know, I'm not going to go through a long run to get messed up. So then the next big week of training that we have coming ahead is going to be compromised. I'd rather step back, take an extra day of peer recovery on that, just so we could hit the next week with kind of all we got. And that's going to kind of be a theme as we kind of run through the rest of these 2 weeks, is going to be making the best out of the situation. We do not want to blow the legs out, but we need to get some volume in. It's not like 5 weeks of tapering. No, no. Seems like too much time. So on the calendar, we got queued up kind of 66-mile week into a 71-mile week for these next 2 weeks. That's a tentative 66. So we're going to go in, we're going to go through the runs, and if the body starts feeling like more compromised, we're going to modify the plan to kind of find that sweet spot between growth and, not screwing the legs up to the point where you can't run, because we're getting super close. This is the point where you want to start thinking about plan Bs, and I want to hit the right peak, because that's what this is. This is the peak right here. When you're coming to your taper, it's like you're trying to find that balance of you're at the right body fat, you're at the right conditioning, you're trying to push all the drivers. You can't maintain your peak level of fitness indefinitely. Really, the second you start tapering off, things start falling. Obviously, it's small, it's little percentages per day, per week that are kind of falling off. Over 3 weeks, is it going to be significant? No, but over 5 weeks, I think it's kind of like an acceleration curve. Week 3 to week 5 is going to feel a lot worse, man, especially if you're not getting the volume in. And that's kind of why we're not going to like take our foot off the trigger. On the low side, these are 40 to 50-mile weeks, these next two minimum, but we will try to hit the planned numbers and see what we can do. So yeah, that really only means like two more big weekends as well, and then we're going to start kind of mindsetting. I've been watching a lot of coverage on Squamish and trying to like build like a mental model of the trails in my head, so I close my eyes and I can just see that grind. I don't know. Makes me maybe a bit crazy on that one, but I'm trying to like get in that headspace about how rough it's going to be, what that day two is going to look like. But yeah, a lot of things happening. So I guess just what other points do we got here? So yeah, I guess one other thing to keep in mind, it wasn't just I cut the Saturday run and the legs were going to be kind of left to neglect with just two runs in there. One thing I did bring back in, because I knew it was a bit of a problem and I pulled back a bit early, was like the heavy leg sessions, doing the weight training. And I was finding it a bit rough to kind of keep both in there, but I think it was a bit of a mistake because I think the strength training really kind of keeps things strong. So I hit the Monday with the leg training, and I also hit a second one on that Saturday where that long run's coming in. And like the stimulus from the leg training, it's like I've never had like a day of squats where it's like your ankles are screwed up or something like that. It's like, yeah, your quads can be on fire, your glutes can get sore. Um, and whatnot. Say with some like deadlifting, maybe your hamstrings are blown out, but like rarely do I have issues where it's like my tibs or my calves are blown out from a leg workout. So I took that time to kind of do some strength work. Nothing crazy. I'm talking maybe 7 working sets between both days, 14 working sets for the week. And that's really kind of 7 to the quads and 7 to the hamstrings. And obviously, there's some kind of crossover there with your glutes and whatnot. Um, Nothing nuts. Uh, but like enough that you like feel like you don't want to just hopping back into like leg training after essentially 2 months off it. You gotta be careful. It wasn't like I was putting multiple plates and like trying to PR. A lot of volume, 12 to 14 rep range. Um, did like a 5 pound increment between the 2 days. We're talking like 135 at this point. Uh, nothing nuts. Uh, so yeah, that's kind of what the recovery week felt like. I'm feeling like at the end of this week, relatively fresh. We'll see kind of how the week transpires. So what's queued up? It's a Tuesday 10, Wednesday 6, Thursday 8, and the weekend we got 22 miles. 22 slow miles on the trail. We'll see what we can get done. What's our time run looking like? 2 hours on the Sunday. So let's get through it, put the strain in. We're getting close to game day. If you're training for this shit, I hope you're getting peaked. It's coming soon. Have a great training week. Bye.